I'm Team Jacob. So
this dude showing up with a freaking 10
There's
ton.
so much, and even if we had more, I don't think it.
Oh my god!
Vaughn getting just does a burn.
No, that is that Vaughn?
Oh, no, I like this. Yeah.
You also have gigantic hands.
In that car right now. We didn't fly all the ways here to watch you walk around in a sling.
New year, new discount code, amazing savings. So, believe it or not, you can go and get a bunch of FD gear, bunch of merch, all that crazy stuff. What do you want? Jackets, shirts, umbrellas, hats. I have no idea what's going to be on offer, but what I do know is that you can save 20%. 20%. That is 1/5 of your order. If you're not great at math, that's a huge savings. And all you got to do is remember podcast 25. You take that, you just the numbers, podcast 25, where there's a little coupon code section, you put it in there. Boom, magic. 20% off. Craziness. So use the code, save yourself some money. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Outerzone, the official podcast of Formula Drift. My name is Jacob Gettins, and today we have Mrs. CHELLE. That's you in this case, Chellee Hansen. How's it going?
That's so cute. Wonderful.
I did hear that was your formal introduction for many of young years.
Yes,
you know,
still
you
is.
Spell everything out.
I mean, it clears it up because it's a lot of loops. Like when I go to write it, sometimes I even add more loops than it really should be.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, and it's like 2 tall loops and then 2 smaller loops. So
yeah.
it'd be a good
Double
signature,
E.
though.
That's me.
Yeah.
It throws people off when you say double L, like on the phone when you're, giving them your credit card info
Okay.
and stuff. It throws them off a little bit, but it's nothing they can't recover from.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I mean, I don't want to like give away my phone number, but like my phone number's got a lot of repeating numbers in it. So I'll just say like triple and then the number at the end, and the people are like,
yeah, they're like,
what? And I'm like, it's, I'm just going to pick a number, but it's like, it's 666 at the end. And then they're like, okay. But if I say 666, they're like, what? And it just, their brain shuts down for a minute.
yeah, you're like, we're special.
But, yeah, exactly. Have you practiced your signature? I mean, I'm sure you've got, that'll be very flowy and nice. Like, do you have your driver autograph practiced as of yet?
I am a professional watercolor painter, so I've done a lot of signatures. So yeah.
I wasn't sure if there was a different one with racing and with painting, and then obviously like with a credit card.
Yes, definitely. Okay. With painting, I actually use my maiden name because I've been selling paintings for a long, long time, and before I was married to Rudy. So like my art name is Chellee Louder, my maiden name. And then when I married Rudy, I just hyphenated my name to Louder Hansen. But with I know it's hard being so famous. You have so many names. But I basically am just Chellee Hansen.
I would argue, though, that you are the Louder Hansen of the two. So it makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. When I stumbled upon your maiden name, I'm like, oh, that is so perfect. Like, that's so spot on.
I know. Louder than ever. That's me.
No, it's good. It's good. It's great when the name is like befitting. Yes. And it always makes me wonder, like, does the name develop the personality, or does it just happen that way, right? Like, the boy named Sue kind of idea. Or it's like, you're going to have to be tough because your name's Sue. Are you just going to be as, I guess, like boisterous and loud as you are because of the last name? Like, I wonder if that's how that all, is your whole family like that? Are they all like big, loud people?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. We make a statement wherever we are.
That's good though. I mean, at least you're keeping that legacy
happy
going.
People.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the sweater says it all today.
Oh, yes. You can't get mad at me in this sweater.
No, I don't think it's possible. It's like, I mean, depending on like what other attire is with it, it could be either happy or very menacing. There's a fine line between those two things.
I love that. Yes. Both sides.
Yeah. I think the difference between happy and menacing is like the eyebrows, right? Like eyebrows up and it's like, great. Eyebrows down and smiling. You're like, that's some questions.
And the shoes.
Ooh, good call. Yeah. Yeah, like sneakers or like Converse, not a problem. But like alligator skin boots, like that's not menacing.
With girls.
Yeah, it's got to have the big curls at the end, or a mustache, like a curly mustache. How's the off season going? Are you feeling prepared yet? Like, are you in a good? Do you feel like you're in a good spot yet, or is it still, everything comes down to the day right before Atlanta?
I mean, I feel like everything's ×2 now with Rudy and I, so I feel like we've been training for this moment, and we're getting there, and I think it's all just gonna work out and be just fine. Of course, you can get definitely waves of overwhelm crash upon you, but just take a breath and, just one day at a time, and just make sure that you're taking steps every day for that program so that it isn't all just rush at the end, right? Because it is going to be somewhat a rush at the end, no matter what it is when it comes to how much we have to do for 2 people. So on top of everything else, but in the way of driving, we've been ice drifting a ton this winter, which I think we're going to go tomorrow, actually, which I'm really excited about.
Really?
Yeah, it's it's like our date. I love going out on the ice and just getting down with Rudy. We have so much fun. We just when it's just him and I, and we go out there, that's some of my favorite driving. So I'm happy to see how much it's catching on, and I feel like it's bigger than ever. Maybe I'm just exposed to it more. A bunch of drivers just went up to Canada and did some. Yeah. I know you guys flew over and did some recently as well. With Olaf,
which is sick. So,
yeah, that was so cool. That was so cool. That's the great thing about drifting is you make friends all over the world. And then they're like, come over. And you're like, okay. That's what credit cards are for.
Well, and the nice thing is flying to Scandinavia in the winter is really not that bad price wise. No. It's almost half of what it would be if you flew over in July. I mean, I think we had to take 5 flights to get there. It was wild. Yeah, it was a endeavor for sure. But sign me up. I'm always up for that. So kind of adventure. Yeah. It was cool. And of all the people to go and drive with too, to do it with Olaf is, I feel like it's special. Yeah, that was my first time really getting to meet him in person. So whoever is here that doesn't know who this is, he's a good friend of mine that I met on the internet. And I just asked him for some help with some sim settings. And then he proceeded to tell me that he helps other drivers and kind of coaches other drivers. And I asked him if he would coach Rudy, and he said no. But then he told me he'd coach me. So that was pretty funny. And then Rudy was really jealous for a minute. Really jealous for a minute. Yeah. I don't want to blow up Olaf's spot too much, but he works with a lot of drivers. And since he started working with them, there's been noticeable progressions in their driving. He's a really, really smart guy. And I love him. I getting to see him and meet him in person was just such a great experience because it's sometimes when you meet people on the internet, you don't if you're gonna. It's kind of a weird. Yeah. Well, and I know he's probably listening to this. He's really good at putting together paragraph messages. He will send you a massive chunk of text, and it's all really well thought out and stuff like that. But you're okay, is this the way that he communicates all the time? Is it just going to be this onslaught of info? And it's not. He's actually really. I got to hang out with him in Germany, and we had amazing conversations about drifting and the way things are going and his thoughts on it. And I really want to see him do well as a coach or whatever his path ends up being, because he's a phenomenal human being and incredibly smart, and not for no reason, but he just kind of popped out of nowhere, which was neat. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I love it because a lot of us, go into drifting, in a grassroots level, and it's just pure survival. You're one lap after another, and then messing up. You're I gotta do better. And then, and for me, the way I really learned a lot of how to drive was when we had the opportunity to do Drift Week. We did the first 5. I think we missed 4 or 3, but we did all of them but one of those. And then
in the first 5, and there were so many good drivers, especially the first one, that I was like, if I go and ride with all these guys, I'm definitely going to learn quite a bit from these drivers just by riding with them. And then it progressed to me. That was about the same year I started driving. And so I would drive a little bit. And then say I had a section on the track that I was having a challenging time with, I would get in the car with a good driver or a driver that had a seat available that that was a pretty advanced driver, and watch how they drove it. And then, or if it was Rudy or whoever, and then I'd see how they drove that section, and then I'd go back and drive it again, So I did learn a lot of driving just kind of through the grassroots survival. And I think meeting him really like opened my world of like, wow, I really didn't learn like the basics.
Yeah.
And they're so simple, yet like, it's just when you're driving, there's so much going on that you're just trying to get the car working and running and just doing a good lap, even though there's like little basic stuff that you can really learn, that will really increase your confidence in your driving. Will just go faster.
Yeah, we want to push so quickly to get past like donuts and figure eights, right? Where it's like, okay, I did the figure eight. Okay, cool. I know how to do it. And it's very rare that we go back and do it again with a car with a different setup and things like that. But like, essentially that's all that drifting is a series of figure eights and just, different radiuses and things like that. So it's like, just go back to the basics, like set your car up the way you think it is, and then go do a full proper donut, like a proper circle around a cone, and see how the car feels.
Yeah.
We forget to do that.
And I think that, like there always are going to be people who pick up stuff faster, just naturally, more talented and maybe feeling like the flow, because drifting is it's like a dance, there's a lot of it that is all about, it's almost like music. It has like a rhythm and a beat, and it's like feeling that. And then also like connecting with your car and really like how much angle you can throw, committed and driving, how committed you can be, and all of that plays into a factor of it. But like that's why I think to the core, it just captures your soul, because it really is a really beautiful sport.
Yeah, it's such a blur between like beauty and chaos and something that feels and looks very aggressive. But like if you've been in a car that's set up well with a driver that's just driving really well, it's smooth and calming and relaxing. Like it's juxtaposition in movement all the time. And that's, I think, what I really, really like about it is that from the outside, you're like, man, this is crazy. But you can look at some in-cars and it's like, it almost looks like slow motion, right? Especially if somebody's in the zone. Yeah.
Unless you're
no
my
wasted
husband.
movement. Yeah, he's pretty.
I'm like,
he's
what
pretty
are all
wild
these
in there.
movements for? He's so cute. We drive so different. So
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's such a cool part of it too, is that you can have the same track, you could have the same car, but two different people, and it's going to be, a very different way of getting around the track. And there's so many different ways you can do the same thing.
Yeah, that's why I love having each other. We can bounce we can bounce ideas off each other. I can show him maybe a better line, and he can show me how to be more aggressive, and so it really helps. I think if you took Rudy and me and you put us as one driver, we would be like crazy good. But fortunately, we have to be separate.
It's a little tough to do that. I mean, you could do, maybe you're on pedals and he's on steering wheel, and or vice versa. He's pushing the pedal down to get you, in tighter in tandem, and you're like, well, hang on, I like these really
Right?
nice smooth transitions. Like, we need to work
that.
together on this.
Yeah, like those
should try that.
what are the cars called where they have them stacked? They do that.
Yeah,
One has the pedals and one has. That's what we need to do. We need to do that.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. Or like the driver's aid ones, right? Where like there's two sets of steering wheels or two sets of pedals. Just do it that way.
Yeah.
You got to set that up. I mean, I'm sure you have enough cars kicking around that you can
fun.
make that happen.
That'd be really fun.
Why not?
And terrifying.
And I guess now you've been driving as a couple and as a team for a little bit, but do you think it will change now that it's FD? Like, do you think the increase in pressure, the increase of cost and everything else, like, do you see your dynamic changing at all with that change?
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be really good. I think Rudy and I, we do better when we're competing together. So
okay.
He gets so much joy out of watching me drive, and helping me and like seeing me do like qualify really well, or, you know, beat one of his friends or something, you know, or just like, I think it takes the pressure off of him because he's kind of focused on helping me that day, and then takes the pressure off of me because I'm helping him, which I think we're all made to help people. Like in general, I think us humans, we like helping each other. And so it's kind of like sad when I'm not competing at FD because it's just not how we've done drifting. You know, it's not how, because we started drifting together and then he went into FD, and then I've just been kind of I did hot pit, was because I didn't start driving for a few years after him. Yeah. So I'm kind of like behind him. But
you guys shared a car early on too, right? Like you do a weekend, you do a couple laps, and then you take the car, stuff like that. So then it was a little bit before you got your own.
Well, it would be kind of like a certain event, right, where we both could drive at, where they'd let, you know, you share a car. And it was kind of funny because he'd be like, hey, you know, are you going to come with me this weekend? And I'm like, well, do I get to drive? Because it kind of got to the point where I was like, you know, every weekend is fun, but like, I want to go have fun too. Like I want to go ride my bike or, you know, link up with my girls and go hiking or something. So it was kind of like hard to want to go every weekend. So yeah, we shared honey butter. So honey butter was the 240 hatch that I completely totaled at Hot Pit. I'm sure everybody saw. That was really, you know, some of your biggest failures end up being some of the most growth in your life. That was definitely one of those moments. I never driven a bank or even really competed. And then I went to that event and I was a little nervous but then I just got up on that line and it was like, once you just got the tire right on that perfect spot, the thing would just, and I was like, yeah, lap after lap. Fine. I qualified like top, I think 7th or something. Really good. And I was like, yeah. And then sure enough, like just barely tapped the wall. But I never driven a bank or a wall. And like, I didn't really know, you know, because you're on that bank. So you really have to, you know, you have to remember that you need to like steer down the hill. So it was like, I talked to Rome a little bit and my husband, and they're like, you just got to, you know, not let off. And I remember Rome saying, you know, you just need to yank the steering wheel down the hill. But like, it all happened so fast. And I did not let off. I did not do that. But that was a problem because it was right before the exit. And then I ended up just like flooring it into the exit and then like almost T-boning the car, which was really scary. But the seatbelt was so tight because Rudy and I share a car that I have to put like my booster seat behind my back, like a pad, more pads basically. So I don't want to adjust the seatbelt. So it's like really tight. I'm like, can barely breathe. So that was a good thing. And Rudy, you know, he's really good at building cars, and that car kept me really safe. I mean, I was fine. I think I told the crowd I hurt myself, but like down there, but that was very embarrassing. But yeah, it was
You're known for being honest,
big moment
so because
yeah. Oh, you know, like it's quite, you know, you never know what could go wrong until it really does go wrong. So you definitely make sure that you have stuff, all your seatbelt on right and everything bolted in, your seat bolted in good. Yeah. Because that could have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
And that taught me so much because wrecking that car really pushed me to help shell it. And that taught me a lot about cars because I grew up with horses and sled dogs and stuff like that. Not motors.
Not race cars.
Not race cars. So I love it though. Like it's so in my soul, and it was really special time for us because that was always kind of hard, was the learning cars. I mean, it's been a journey for sure, like of Rudy and I, and especially after that when I did get my own car and like learning, what questions to ask and when, and who to ask for help when I needed some help, because it can get a little stressful at an event when you have two cars and I don't know as much about my car as Rudy does. And so it was a good time because it taught me how to build a car from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm able that also I wanted to be there doing it too. So that helps as well. So that was really a big moment for me in turning it into something I could really see myself doing, because I feel like you can really have a lot of doubt in your head about, I don't know if I can do drifting because I can't really work on cars, right? But that's the thing, is you can. Yeah. It's just getting out there and learning and asking questions and making an effort and failing and not putting a part on backwards, and then your husband telling you it's laughing at you that's on backwards, and you have to take it all apart and do it again, and that's just what it is, and it builds confidence, and that's great. I think those are all things that make you a better human.
Do you think a crash like that? Because I mean, it was pretty nasty. I don't know if I've seen the video, but I know I saw the after photos of it. Do you think that shakes anything loose? Do you think that it either adds fear, or does it take away fear because it's like, okay, that was really nasty and I still am fine? Like that's pretty much as bad as things are going to get. So if that's the worst it's going to be, then like, cool, I don't have to worry anymore. Or is it more like, oh, I know how bad this could be, and now I have to drive a little bit differently?
So for me, I said to myself, okay, that's what motivated me to get my sim figured out, because I had a sim, but I'm a little older and I had quite not the best at computers and all that. And, I can only ask my kids so many times before I lose my mind to help me. And it was just such a lot. I said, it can be quite a bit with all the settings. And I don't think I really had the right wheel and all that to work together. And so it really motivated me to start reaching out to friends in the drift community to help me get it set up. And once I got that set up, that's what I said, okay, well, now I'm going to go and I'm going to download this hot pit track, and I'm going to orange show, and I'm going to drive the bank over and over and over on this sim. And so I can learn how to hit the wall and drive out of it. So it wasn't scary to me, because I feel like if I can use a tool where I feel comfortable and I can take my time and I'm not wrecking anything because it's a simulator, that I can get as prepared as I can for a track that way, and it builds that confidence that I can go to that track. But to wreck again, I'm not really scared of that.
That's good.
No.
I've seen a lot of drivers have bad wrecks. A lot. And I was going to say, you've had a few hits over the years, but I find with hits like that, drivers come out in one of two mindsets. It's either I can't do this anymore, or it's that's the worst. That's the worst it's going to be. Like, oh, this is easy then. Like, it sucks, and I have a lot of work to do, and financially it's not the best time, but I'm still here, and everything else I can figure out.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. It's almost like when I wrecked that car, I felt like I killed the childhood horse. You know what I mean? Like, it was like the car that taught us how to drift, It was like really emotional. Like, it was, I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to be married still. I was like, I don't know if I'm married still. Like, we don't know what's going on. But it was really it was really sad. And I got they gave me an award. I think it was the biggest comeback award.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. When I came back at a hot pit the next year. That was really cool of Jeff to give me that award, and RJ that meant a lot to me, because going to Irwindale and then going and driving that wall.
Yeah.
And it was cool because I actually really like walls. I'm not really that scared of them because I can see them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then once I figured out how to drive a bank on the sim, like I actually hit the wall at Orange Show, I think twice after that. But I also learned how to modify my car so that it could take a little bit more of a hit there.
Okay.
Because it really didn't flex at all. So that wasn't helping me. You know?
Yeah.
And then so I just, took some power tools and took care of some metal. And then I was able to, get back on that wall, because I think I like being up on that wall. There's a spot on that wall. When you're on that, it's just like gravy. You're just sitting there, you're like, I don't have to add heat. I don't have to take it away. It's just like glide in there just perfectly. So that's the sweet spot.
Yeah, it's got to be very satisfying to go back and kind of conquer it again too afterwards and be like, nope, we're good now. Like, you threw everything at me, and now let's, we're past that. We're friends now, and let's make the best.
I think
of it.
everybody held their breath.
The first run out, right?
When I hit it again, it's like what's gonna happen? And I'm like, see guys, I learned. It only took me 6 months of going up to the shop from noon to 9 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
to
Made
learn.
it work though.
Yeah.
Made it work.
That's the hard part, is when you wreck, you gotta fix it financially and time wise. And I think that's when a lot of people quit.
Yeah, I agree. It's a conversation I've had a few times, which is like, we're here. I mean, you're where you are, I'm where I'm at, simply because we just didn't give up. And there's other people that may be better or may have done better in the future, but they may have given up. And there are definitely times that giving up is necessary, 100%. Like, there are situations where it's like, no, this makes no sense. You need to find a different way and take a different route. But like, I think that grit and perseverance is a lot of it. And
like having each other too, like not everybody has somebody that's there to help them, you know? So it's interesting. I mean, I had the pleasure of digging deep into your history, and no, it's all good. It's all good. What I thought was super interesting though was you seemed like a fiercely independent person for a really long time. Like somebody who would backpack, through Utah and Colorado and scale massive mountains and do all this stuff, even to the point of like being a varsity goalie. Like, that's an independent position on a team sport. So how are you able to now work so closely with your husband in a way that most couples couldn't survive, coming from, like really, like most people could never work with their spouse, period. As somebody who has worked with their spouse on several occasions, it's not an easy thing. But how did you shift from being somebody who was so independent and so like, get out of my way, I'm going to do what I want to do, to going like, oh, I need this person to get to where I want to be? I don't know. I still feel like I am independent. Like I guess I still feel like I'm the same person. I just so happen to be able to like have a partner that has as much passion as I do about like going and getting it done. Like, I'm always like, come on, let's like go to this next thing, or let's go to this adventure or that adventure. And it's like, he's the same way, or even more so, and it's like, how do we make it work? I love learning. Okay. I love learning new things. And I think people can teach you a lot. And I have a really hard time saying no to new things, or really anything that's quite fun or intriguing to me. And I think the challenge and what Rudy has taught me is like probably why it works for us, because I want to be there learning. If I didn't want to be, then I wouldn't be, and he should be fine with that. I think you can be a couple and have interests of your own, and the other one or the other can be interested or not, but that's okay. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
But to have to both have the same values, and like that's probably why our relationship works really well. Is we really it comes down to is we really value what we want in life.
Yeah,
the same thing.
Having the shared agreements, but like separate agreements. I don't see Rudy doing a whole hell of a lot of watercolor, although I'd love to see him try.
He has.
Has he?
He has done
Okay.
a lot. Yes. If I knew you were going to ask me, I would have brought it.
I didn't know
down
I was going to ask you that.
to show you. It is quite. Actually, hand me that painting right there. Okay, so that's funny because I used to do these little classes.
Right.
Like people would hire me to come to their home and we'd drink wine and eat snackies. And I would do water. I would teach them how to paint a watercolor. And this was actually one of the watercolors that I did for a class. Yeah, it has a little horse and a barn. Well, Rudy, he did this one.
Okay.
And I have this painting and I will send it to you and you can maybe add it.
We'll put it in the background. We've been talking about like making the background like a fan-based background where like people send stuff in, but that may open the door to some craziness. Rudy's
okay, I'll just send you the painting.
I'll see you in Long Beach. I'll just meet you there.
It's pretty fabulous.
It looks great.
It's the horse has very blobby legs, and from what I remember, and there was quite a large chimney coming out of the barn. I don't think it was
proportional.
The portion was quite right, but the effort was there. Like he did really well.
A for effort.
And so I mean, I definitely probably bend to more what he wants to do than he bends to what I want to do. But I just go on my own. If he doesn't want to go, that's fine.
Actually,
it turns out better.
I think, as you said, that independent spirit is still there. I guess my question was misleading in the fact that it's like it didn't go anywhere. You just found the other part, which is the team part of it.
Yeah, and I honestly just I just love living. I feel like I could go anywhere with Rudy. You could move us out to the middle of like the desert where there's nothing but sand and we'd still have a good time.
Yeah.
Even if we didn't have drifting, we'd have something else. We always have.
That's fair.
We've always had fun doing anything. So, I mean, when he taught me how to dirt bike, I went over the handlebars pretty much every time.
Grabbing the wrong brake.
Sometimes leave me, miles away, and I would get a little upset about that. But
you always circle back.
We work through it.
Yeah.
It's just about communication.
Yeah, it's learning. It's all learning. Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, it seems, it seems like you've always been adventurous and pushing, and the friend that like, I wouldn't say peer pressures, but is the first one to come up with an idea, or the first one to be like, okay, like, barging into snorkels and being like, Hannah, we're going skiing. Like let's go, let's do this thing, right? You always want to make sure that something is happening. Which is good. And I think that is also translated into what you guys are doing on the merch side of things too, where you guys are always pushing the envelope in one way or another. I believe it was the blind mice stickers might have been my favorites.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was pretty funny.
It was
That was a good one. I like that one.
And you got a good hearty laugh at a Reese on that one too. So I think
it was like the timing though.
Oh, it was perfect.
The timing was like perfect. Yeah. There was no like harm by any means. It was just, I'm an artist. I have to be creative. I have to, be creative.
It's been good. Like the merch is, it's something where you and I'll usually see each other somewhere in the pits, and you'll be like, you have to stop by the booth. I have to show you what we came up with. And it's like something ridiculous, whether it's like a new fashion statement or something like crazy tie-dye or the stickers. Like it's good though, but it's it's different, and I like that.
Thanks.
I'm not a fan of the black T-shirt, race team logo in the front, sponsors in the back.
Yeah.
That's needed.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
It's not what I want to wear. I mean, I'm mostly black T-shirts anyways, but for a lot of people, like that's such a niche want in apparel, whereas you find the complete opposite niche in apparel. Where you're like, hey, there's some weirdos out here. There's some strange people, and they need T-shirts too.
Yeah, we're like the underground of the merch scene.
Yes. Yeah. It's a small rave every time I walk by your paddock.
Oh yeah. Well, did you see Jeb, our golf cart? I got him a disco ball now.
I did not see Jeb's disco ball.
He's a new man. Like he got a whole makeover by the Highland golf cart people in Boise. Called me up and they're like, hey, we need to get that golf cart looking better. And I'm like, yeah, we do.
Of course we do.
Get that. Yeah. And I can't believe what they did to him. Like everything. I actually has some really sick wheels we're going to get on him this year. They're going to give me, but basically I got one of those disco balls that move, on Amazon. You get like just suction cups up there, and I'll get that thing going. And in Orlando, the track people in Orlando were like, they were like, you can't have no fun, no disco lights. It's like the only place that had a problem. Yeah, I was like, that's so funny. Like you guys don't have bathrooms. Why can I have a disco light?
What a dig.
What a funny place. But
it's a funny place.
And then we got some Type S underglow on him, so he's gonna be like.
I do have to ask about the naming. You guys name everything.
Yes.
Where does that come from?
Crucial.
It's crucial.
It's because how do you talk about? We have four businesses, and like,
okay,
how do you talk about everything from what car? Like, I think we have, I don't know, probably like 15 cars, 20 trailers, because Rudy owns a construction company,
right?
And then so we have. You have to have names for everything so that it's not like, oh, the blah, 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 the white, everything's got a name. So it's like, oh yeah, you know exactly what car it is. So when you have to order parts for it, there's no mess up.
Differential for Superdog, like, whatever it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite name?
That's probably a lot of my fault.
Yeah.
I do names.
Okay. What's your favorite name right now? Like what name are you most excited about?
The new car, the new pro car. I just named it Bad Girlfriend after a Theory of a Deadman song. Only so I can make a reel of that car when it's going nasty, and that you can play that song at the same time. It's gonna all go together so well.
That's fair. I mean, you could have called it Lips of an Angel, but you went with Bad Girlfriend, so that's
Bad Girlfriend. It's kind of funny.
It is good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's just like instilling an attitude into the vehicle right away.
Yeah, because Svetlana, which is the car I'll be driving, which is the car Rudy drove last year.
Right.
Her name is Svetlana because she's the mail order bride, because we built her during COVID, and basically that whole car was brought to us in the mail. Like the poor UPS guy, I would be like, do you need can I get you some water? Like he has to come up the drive all the way up our driveway, which is on a hill. Yeah. And a lot of times they're not allowed to like drive their truck up our hill. So they'll have to like haul everything up there. And, they probably delivered 2 cars and returned a car, because that was the first time we built a car. So we had learned quite a bit, like from the ground up, from the chassis up. So that's Svetlana.
What else? What else you got? I mean, I'm these names.
Well, Honey Butter.
Right. Honey Butter.
Honey Butter, she's so sweet. And she's, like I said, the childhood horse that taught Rudy and I to drive. Okay. So that's she's got to have a sweet name. And then, my car has 2, my practice car, my Pro-Am car, has 2 names. Well, depends on what kind of day it is. So, I don't know if this is appropriate. So,
we can always bleep it. We can bleep it out.
Superdog is when that car's doing great, and I am taking children for rides in it. That's Superdog. Then when Superdog decides to be mean, I call it Blue Balls, because every time it's at a comp and I qualify good, and then I go out and I do my first one and I win, and then it's always the second battle and it breaks on me, and I'm like, and it's always like something big where I can't, like a blew up the axle, or like
Right.
like the motor will explode if you drive it right now. So it's like, so I call blue balls because she gets you really juiced up and then let you down right when you need it. That's why that car got named that.
That's fair. I think that's I think that's fair. That's a solid nickname.
And it's blue.
Yeah.
So
are you guys planning on doing any like big livery switch ups, or just more of kind of the I mean, your liveries are always very interesting. Always ridiculous, always like hidden gems everywhere is kind of my favorite. As somebody who very much likes a well-placed Easter egg, I often will find them in your cars, whether it's, certain stickers or notes left.
Yeah.
There's always something new to be found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Lots of motivational notes.
The liveries have been a journey because, see, I'm an artist, so I can't like copy people, like I can't be out here like, I'm like, ooh, we need to do that differently. But I also don't like, I haven't come from a motorsports background too, but I also know what it's like to be a fan, and you're sitting there and the third black car comes out and you're like, I don't know who that guy is. Like, I don't, but then you see, like Ryan Turk come out and you're like, okay, I know that car.
Yeah.
I know that car. So I said to Rudy, you need to have a car that when you come out, the fans are like, that's Rudy Hansen. I know that car. That's Rudy Hansen. And then they remember you, because not every fan watches at maybe every event, or, they might just come, they might not even watch online. Maybe they just come to one event every year that's local, right? But like, if they can like remember a driver, that's cool to them too. So like, it's just building that brand as well. So you build the car look, you build the pit look, and then people can link the two, and then they remember you. So then when you come out again, they're like, oh yeah, that's Rudy Hansen,
Yeah,
that's
the linking the pit to the car is very important, and something that's not focused on quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Like, like hats off to these guys who do this all on their own. Like it's a lot. Like to I mean, I know because I've been doing a lot of it for Rudy, that side of it, and why he can focus on the car. And it seems like a simple thing, but it's just one more step and one more step. It's like cooking a simple meal, or adding more ingredients into it. It's just going to be more expensive and more time consuming.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the end justifies the means. Like, I've seen enough Hansen merch, walking around that, like, obviously it's working. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, like it's such an awesome way to support a team, and our team shirts this year are going to be really, really cool. I'm excited. They're going to be different, shocking, but I think everyone's really going to like them. And then it's kind of fun because we're going to play off of the whole husband and wife vibe.
I like that. Might as well.
Yes.
I like that. It could, yeah. I have some ideas.
Our cars are actually going to be the same.
Okay.
Our cars are going to be the same. That way, because, as much as I like to be different, it's just more practical to have a trailer with a set of spare parts.
Yeah, of course.
It all seems like cool to have your special car in your head until you get to the racetrack and you're like, do I really want to drive to Outerzone right now? You know what I mean? But if you have that part, because like you have, both of us have that part, and then it's like way less pieces for the trailer. It's just all around a better situation. But then what's really cool is that I'll be able to drive his car in Pro Spec and he'll be able to drive my car in Pro. So if there's any problems with one car, we'll have a car.
That's interesting. That's smart. So your or his car will still conform to pro spec regulations then?
Yes.
Smart. Well, I mean, it did
Thank you.
previously because he was doing, both
Yes,
with one
both.
car. So,
Yeah, but he is building a new car.
right.
So with the pedals, I know that was kind of a issue.
Yeah.
So, but it's in the end, like the money that you are spending to be there and to be able to just drive is so important. That's the number one goal.
Yeah.
If your car's running. So, because it doesn't matter how good of a driver you are, and if your car isn't running.
No, that's
car's got to be running.
That's super fair. Like, people focus so much on just getting to the event, and it's like, yeah, if the car's not running, you've wasted all of that money just to show up. And it's tough.
Yeah.
I know enough about trying to manage those kind of budgets to make it all work. Like, sometimes you have to figure out what's the thing that needs to be cut. Like, do we just show up and hope that everything works, or do we not show up and know that everything will work on the next one? So, it's what's more important, to make the presence or to make sure that the car is able to compete. Because sometimes you can't do both, which is sad, but it's the reality.
Yeah.
But you guys, you've doubled
yeah.
your chances now, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And because at first I was kind of like, okay, maybe I'll kind of do a little bit, of a different livery. I mean, personally, I would love to add a giant bunny tail to the back of my car, but I don't think Kevin will allow that because I think the fire, might not be good.
I mean,
but,
I'm sure Skids would be very happy to be represented in FD though. So
yes. Oh yeah, he's been hopping around this whole time. But what was I going to say? Yeah, because also I'm just doing pro spec and Rudy's just doing pro. So there really shouldn't be a whole lot of confusion. That was another thing. Like, if we were doing the same series, I would say, okay, we need to obviously make the cars different. Everyone's going to be confused.
Yeah.
But because we're in different classes, I think it'll be pretty understandable. It'll be kind of fun though, because people are going to be like, is that Rudy? Is he doing what? Is he doing prospect?
I think there will be enough subtle signs to be able to tell the two apart. I have a feeling it'll be like the moment you look into the interior, you're going to immediately know whose car is whose.
Yeah.
I give it maybe one event where you're like, I need to do more in here. Like, this is great. I love all of this going on, but this is my cockpit and I need it to be my space. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I love the whole idea of us having, the husband and wife, like, kind of matching suit vibe, because we're, kind of from that era.
Yes, that era. You keep saying it like you're ancient, and I'm like, you're only a few years older than me. Like, stop dragging me into that space, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Jacob, we're getting old, dude.
I know we're getting old. I know we're getting old.
I know. I just realized that too. It's okay.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. I still feel like I'm in the
When you're my
prime.
age and you go in to get a sports physical, they're like, what?
Thankfully,
So yeah, that's why.
there's no physicals needed for announcing. So I'm in the clear there.
You are lucky. Dude, I had to do my eye test and good to go.
Good.
I'm the only one in my family that doesn't have glasses. Which
Okay.
I was like, this might be the time. I might not pass it. Like, this could be the time. And they're like, ma'am, your right eye is a lot better than your left eye. And I'm like,
but like, just better
does that
overall,
mean?
right? Like, not like
yeah.
the other one just sucks, but like, we're like 40 and then 20, like something.
I'm like, if you looked at my medical history, everything's on my left side. It's bad. Everything. It's just trash. This side's great.
Yeah. It's weird.
Nothing new.
Did you when you were birthed, did you just fall on one side and that was...
Dude, that's a good question for my mother. We'll definitely have to ask her that. I don't know why my left side's like, maybe because it's not dominant side. So maybe I'm just like more...
It's resting more.
Yeah, like...
This doesn't work as hard.
Guess I just hurt that side more.
Yeah.
My reflexes maybe aren't. Well, my eyesight's worse on that side. That's why.
Okay. You're just hitting stuff all the time.
That's why.
You just can't see
Solved it.
things. You're hitting counters.
Now
and
I get
doors
why
and-
she told me that.
Yeah. it's all coming together.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I just have to walk around like this.
Get you an eye patch. That would be funny. I mean, that would be like a cool challenge. Just like rent a track and be like, okay, can you drive with an eye patch on? And then like, can you drive with a
dude,
different
an eye
patch?
patch.
Yeah, because your depth perception
Fielding
is gone.
shredder. Are you hearing this? Next drift week, you have to do the eye. I think they did do that because they had the challenge with the
Is it the backwards wheel?
the ship. What is it called? The steering wheel of the ship.
yeah,
is there
no,
listed.
that's scary.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
Do you remember that when they
I
had that
wasn't
little
there,
thing?
but I was like, I watched that and went like,
I was.
if your fingers get caught in that, like goodbye fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think it worked pretty good. I just don't know about. I think the eye patch. Actually, I think the eye patch was an issue. I think
believe it.
ended up being an issue.
Because you have no depth perception.
Yeah, nobody could see. Because you can see this way. You can only see because with drifting, that's not good.
No. If you're only
My
turning
grandpa
one
only
way,
had one eye.
maybe you're
Grandpa only had one eye. He lost it in the war, and he would look up. He was a peach farmer,
okay.
and he'd always look at the peaches, and he'd always like squint his eye. And he's like, yeah, they're not ripe yet. And then every day got to the. I'll never forget that. But one time he left it in a Kleenex on the table, and my grandma threw it away because she throws everything away.
Right.
So she threw his eye away, and that was not good for the family for a minute, but we recovered.
I remember I was probably like 9 or 10, and I didn't realize that my grandmother had dentures. And I remember one like Saturday morning, I was at her house and we had to go somewhere, and I like went into her room to wake her up, and there was just teeth in a glass, and I was like, whoa, like mind blown. I'm like, I remember running back out and being like, Dad, Grandma's teeth are in a glass. He's like, yeah, she's got dentures. And I'm like, since when? And she's like, you never noticed the weird thing she does with her like clicking and stuff? And I'm like, I just thought it was her tongue. And you're like, no, that's her.
You don't know what those are?
No, I was sheltered. Like 10 years old, I'd never seen an old person without teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Imagine how I felt when I saw I realized I saw an eyeball like on the kitchen table. I'm like, what is this? Like I didn't know. Like that was what the squinting was about.
Arguably
like,
more
you shouldn't
traumatic.
be driving.
No.
Yeah. No.
All this to say though, yeah, we need an eye patch challenge for sure. Closed course, professional driver, nobody else on track.
I'll give you a ride along and we'll do it.
I'm cool. How about you try it out first? You let me know how it goes, and then we'll have a talk. I'm really bad with ride-alongs.
Oh, really?
So I think some of it is I used to film a lot of the ride-alongs. So I always had a camera, and I have a camera, but it's in front of me. But the issue was you would hold the camera this way, right? And it'd be shooting, like you're facing forward, obviously. And you'd be shooting this way. So the lens is going that way and then you'd have the screen flipped out and you're staring at it this way. So you're seeing the motion go this way, but you're feeling it differently. Yeah. And I think it just made me get nauseous because like you're in a race suit, you're in a harness. You can't turn to film. So you just have to hold it like that. So I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
When Travis Reeder gave me a ride along, I didn't get nauseous. I just got really scared. Because that was Utah. And like that was Utah. That was like my wake up call when I realized just how fast the cars had gotten. Because it had been probably 3 or 4 years since I'd been in a pro level car, and it was Jeff Stoneback's car. So like his was still super powerful, but like in 4 years time, just very different, right? Even year over year it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Olaf would say, the ye forces.
The ye forces, yes. But
you felt the ye forces.
The difference in speed in 4 years is nuts.
And then Utah, especially, that's just a wild. That's a pretty intense track for like somebody who hasn't been in on a ride along. For example, I was asked to take the Coca-Cola rep at UMC for a ride along there, and she wanted to go with Rudy, and I was like, okay, maybe. Come with me. I'll take you on a solo lap. And then, if you love it, you can go ride with Rudy. And Rudy and Rome were like this was like the first year at Utah. So I think it was the first testing.
Okay.
That was the first year. Yeah. And, so they were like getting, doors there. And I was like, yeah, why come with me? Good thing too, because I took her and she like did not do well. Like she was like trying to grab stuff. And then I turn around to go back and do it again. And she's like, are we gonna go again? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I'm good. I'm good. I think that like really that track is really intimidating because it is like wild because you're going straight for so long and then you have to chuck the car to where it looks like you're going into the grandstand, but you're going like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it feels like you're going. It feels like you're just gonna launch into the grandstand. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's good. Her reflexes worked, so that's good.
The fight or flight kicked in real hard.
Yeah, well, it's funny too because I actually am a very smooth driver. Mm-hmm. Like actually, I kind of thought it was a bad thing, in a sense because people are like, "Oh, you're so like you're like the smoothest driver I've ridden with," like, ooh, and I'm like, at first I was like, "Thanks," and then for some reason I got in my head that wasn't a good thing. So then I was like, "Oh, I need to be more like Rudy." But then I met Olaf and he was like, no, that's how it's supposed to be. I'm like, okay, all right. So now I'm back at it because it is kind of, there's a balance, right? I think going into a pro car, it's going to be a lot more wild for sure. Yeah. I mean, even because the E-forces. Yes. They're a real deal.
I got a preview of you putting things out into the universe, if you will, writing lists down and having goals and be more aggressive, _, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Oh, my refrigerator goals?
Yeah.
Hey, you're on my refrigerator.
I know. I was
Did
honored.
You see that?
I was so honored. I was like,
I'm honored.
Man, I'm up there too. Like I'm right next to be a champion. Yeah. I was like, damn, I didn't know this was a goal for people.
Well, yeah. I was like, really, I was surprised you wanted me, honestly.
Yeah, of course I do.
Just me, little me, No, I think, but, it's like,
I think in general, pro spec drivers need as much attention as we can give them, right? So first and foremost,
thank you.
Second, you have a really good story, top to bottom, I don't know, like the first 5 years of your life, but I kind of got, the Coles notes from after that.
Yeah.
And then you've had a really strong career already. Like coming up through Hot Pit is arguably the most difficult series to try and earn a license through. Like,
yeah,
it's not easy. You're just driving against other pros. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
And then
I was really surprised that Rudy asked me to even do Hot Pit with him. I didn't, but
you did well.
That's how you get better.
Yeah.
You drive with people who are better than you, and somehow you get better.
That's being the best at something in your group is not a good place to be.
Yeah.
It's not like someone told me last year and it stuck with me, which was don't take advice from people that aren't in a position you want to be in. And I was like, ooh, and it has stuck with me because like I'm to move forward, I need to talk to people who know more than I do, who have done better than I have. And it's like, because they're the only people. I will still take advice from other people for sure, but like, that's not where I'm going and seeking it is if somebody's just starting or something like that. They may have really good notes and ideas that I don't have, but I want to talk and learn from people who have accomplished way more than I have because that's how I get to their spot.
I mean, I was a big mountain skier and downhill. I was like the OG girl on the downhill trails, when that started coming out. And I said, like the only way you're going to get better is if you try to keep up with those guys, with that boy group. Like
Yeah.
I've been keeping up with boys my entire life, and it is hard. It is hard. And I have bled a lot. I've had a lot of bruises. Every time I'd run into Rudy's parents, it was so funny. I'd always have like some like hematoma, like just like gnarly bruising or like a broken rib.
Yeah.
And I'm like that's how you get better though. I mean, you just push yourself. If you know you can do it, like believing in yourself is so important, because if you believe in yourself, then it shows you that there's possibility. And when there's possibility, it's easy to believe in yourself. So it's just ultimately the right belief, if you have it.
Do you get like
in your soul.
a weird satisfaction out of just doing things that are incredibly difficult that people think you shouldn't be able to do?
Yeah, I think that we a lot of times think we can't do it, even though, or like we just don't want to embarrass ourselves,
Okay.
And because like even for me going into pro spec, I still feel like I'm like, man, I don't have a lot of seat time in a pro car, like what's gonna happen, But if I just said that and didn't go, and then I don't know, it just doesn't sit with me well. Like I feel like you just progress and you face your fear. Like it's not as intimidating as it really seems. Like I think if you just accept that you're gonna learn from, you're gonna have failures. Like it's just inevitable. Like you're not like I can't think, I'm only going to go if I know I can do really, really well. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, that's probably when you're not going to do very well.
Right.
That's how the universe works. I don't know. But like, if you go into something just like, being really just grateful that you have this opportunity to do something, because you might not get that opportunity again. Like I won my championship last year. If I don't go to Pro Spec this year, I might not get this opportunity to do it, and so for me, it's like, wow, it's like somebody giving you a gift and being like, no, I don't know. It's a little much for me. It's like, no, I'll take that thing. Like I'll wear that frilly dress, it's not too much for me. It's like, it's just like life is so funny. Like we get so caught up in like what other people might think of us, when it's like nobody's thinking about you. Like don't flatter yourself.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like we all sit there and watch so many people come in and like it's so challenging because a lot of these people build a new car and like and then like they never been to anything like that. Like FD is really intimidating. When you go there, you're like, wow, this place is cool. Like the atmosphere of it all. It's like, wow, this is like racing, because when you come from Pro-Am, it can be a little like, you don't have the announcers. You do have announcers now, but like I don't know how to explain it, but like just walking in the pits, you know what I mean? FD just has this vibe that just is like no other, and it's so, it's just invigorating, and it's just inspiration. It's just inspirational. Like you're like, yeah, like this is like the feeling and everything about it. So it's like, oh man, where was I going with that?
No, I like your positive take on it, because I've also heard from other drivers where they go, yeah, it's intimidating. Like you've taken the same sentiment of a very large presence, and you've switched it from being something that could be intimidating to something where you're like, no, it's inspirational. I mean, and that like that's what you need to do. And it seems to be just a thread and a really good personality trait of you, where it's like, even going back, it's like doing a foreign exchange in New Zealand. The amount of people who'd be like, there's no way. Like, why would I? That's crazy. Like I'm on the other side of the world, I don't know anybody. I'm a teenager. Like, there's no way I could do that. How am I going to fit in? Whereas you're like, no, this is crazy. I have to do this. And it's, it could be intimidating, but it's also think of everything that I get to do. Did you know Long Beach, super, super soon. So you're going to want to jump on it. You're going to want to save some money on tickets. If you haven't bought tickets yet, well, man, what are you doing? You were probably waiting for this discount code. So jump on it right now. Use OZLB at checkout. Save yourself $5.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. Like, yeah, I mean, and I've already been at FD with Rudy. So, like, I have a lot of understanding. I think when drivers come in there, you're like, it's a lot. Like, I got to remember all my pieces and I got to, and then you start getting down in your head and then it's just kind of like this spiral. Like, if your car's not working well, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like, there's nothing worse than your car not working right or not set up right. And then you're just like in the eye of everybody and everyone's opinion. And that's why I'm here to tell all y'all to be a little nicer to everybody, because it takes a lot of courage to go out there and do that. And it does. And we need to be a little nicer to everybody about that, because you know what? I got a lot of courage, or I got a lot of strength from seeing the other women, or not just other women, just new drivers go out there and try, because it is hard. It's not just driving. It's a whole program of, like, when people are like, oh, I want to do pro spec. I'm like, but you've never left the state. Yeah. Like, you literally need to load up your car in a trailer and drive all the way, like, say they're in Oregon. Like, you need to drive all the way to Florida and go do a day event in Florida and then drive home. And then let me know if you want to do pro spec, because that's what it's like. Yeah. And it's hard because, like, some people don't do that. And I think they get a little, I just like try to tell people, I'm like, you really need to go be on a team, or like, just see if you want to be there and you want to do it, and then really push to try to get there if you want to do that.
Yeah. I stress so much to people, like, this is so much harder than you think, but it's so much more rewarding than you could ever imagine. Like, mm-hmm. I've been a part of teams at the highest of highs and at the lowest of lows, like watching the 5-minute clock timeout and just like the wrenches drop and just the depression hit. And it's brutal and the silence is deafening and the team is like, everyone's like, almost like, but they're dead. They're dead inside. It's the worst. But then I've also been able to stand on a podium with a friend and, somebody who's like family to me. And that feeling made me forget everything else that happened. Right. And it's chasing that constantly. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I really like about drifting is I feel like a lot of the drivers work together.
Yeah.
And that's so important, because I think when you come into driving, you really have to understand, like, you probably are going to lose more than you're going to win. But, like, the struggle and the effort and, like, showing up. And then when you do win, it just feels, like, so good. Like, it just feels times 100, And, like, that's why it's so cool and important to be there for other drivers when they win, because I think there's enough abundance for everybody to have a good time. And I think if we're all proud of each other, because we all see what each other go through, like the struggle of the weekend, and it's almost like cheering that on. I mean, that's the story in it all of why it's so, inspirational. I mean, and really thinking about what we've been talking about, I really think we need to give James an eye patch.
Just to even the playing field a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
we were saying, we're like, if we're not all pushing him, like, maybe we just need to give him a handicap.
I don't know if it would slow him down all that much, to be perfectly honest. I think it will for a little bit. I think 1 or 2 rounds, he might struggle, and then he'll figure it out.
All I'm wondering is who gets the logo on the eye patch.
Oh yeah, and knowing like RTR and that marketing team, because like I know those guys quite well. Damn, they're selling that eye patch for a good value. Like that is a high value placement right
That's
there.
F1 status.
And they'll have a camera just on that eye patch. They'll have like one of those like motion tracking cameras that follows his head around, on that eye patch.
The Simpsons will probably do an episode on it. So
guaranteed, yeah, or So and then South Park will do it like a couple of years later, and it'll be Simpsons did it. Yeah.
South Park, they should be drifting down the snow.
Yeah, I don't know why there hasn't been a drifting episode of South Park. We need to I think something like that is would kick it off. It'll be like a weird zeitgeist moment where like some niche thing's gonna pick up drifting and make it pop off. I don't know. I feel like such a broken record because I talk about it all the time, but like I just feel like we're so close to something happening. And I'm just hoping that I'm like right there, ready to go when that ride takes off. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you're a big part of it.
I know, but like
You're a big piece of the puzzle, Jacob.
Jacob, that's literally okay. Your Olaf impersonation is getting really good. I know it. I know it to be true. It's just like I still have such a hard time coming to terms with it. I really do. It's still weird to me. Like I love when people come up. It's still weird to me because I'm like, why are you talking to me? Like what? Like
Dude, I'm a mom and I'm a pro spec driver. Like what?
No, that's great. Like that's such a cooler story than mine.
It should be let out into pasture.
Nah, you've got to. You guys should be getting. If a person is talking to a driver and they leave that driver to talk to me, I will be like, no. You find me later. You go speak to them. We'll find some time. Hit me up on Instagram. We'll chat later. Like you go talk to them. They're the athletes. But no, I think that's the coolest part is like how many different people, how many different walks of life. That is what I still truly love about our sport. That like we have drivers who come from incredible means and have families that have huge backings. And that does not guarantee you a win. That does not guarantee you even a good career. And then we have drivers that come from the humblest of means that are self-built. Mm-hmm. And that also doesn't mean it guarantees you a win. And it doesn't mean that you're going to suck either. Yeah. And that's what I like is that once those lights go out, nothing matters. It doesn't matter your history. It doesn't matter it doesn't even matter what condition your car's in because those lights go out. Fucking anything can happen. And that is what makes it so good.
It's energy. Oh. Yeah, it's just energy in that story. It's cool. It's like, it's what we live for, Yeah. It's why we all show up to go throw our most expensive thing we own, maybe more than our house, against a wall for some reason. Just for a chance that you could be called great. You're welcome, people. Yeah. You're welcome. Hey, not everyone wants to do that. It's like when you go to SEMA and you're like, you see the guy come in with like the fully restored, like classic car, and he's like feeling all juicy. He's like, I'm gonna do a burnout, Hoonigan burnout. You're like, yeah. It's like I respect that's what it's people. Built for, like, yes. Well, that's what we're doing. Yeah. But you're just hucking it at a wall. You guys are all crazy. No, I firmly believe that. I haven't talked about it in a long time, but I have a theory as to all you drivers, which is I don't know if you've heard this one yet. It's an old theory. It's like back from like season 1. We're doing a bit of a callback here. Did you have cats growing up? Yes. Okay. But they would get eaten because I had coyotes. More coyotes than I had cats. But you were very actively around cats at a young age. Yes. Okay. Yes. I grew up in the country, so almost every driver I've spoken to has told me that. And there is a thing called toxoplasmosis. I don't know if you know what this is or heard of it. Oh, yes. It's a brain parasite. Yes. And it causes I think TikTok taught me this. Yeah, it causes you to have a lack of fear. It is a medical, it is a diagnosed thing. And almost every driver that I've talked to. That explains it. Yeah. They're like, no, I'm calm. Like I get excited, but I'm not afraid. Oh. And I'm like, yeah. That's but how you I had feel. Cats. Yeah. Yeah. I did. I actually, personal cat. We had a lot of cats, but I got my own. I'm the last of 4 kids, so I didn't get much of my own stuff. Like, I mean, when we went skiing, it was like, go to the closet and find what you can find. I had like a different glove on each hand and different ski boots even. So like, you know, it was like a big deal because we'd always, I grew up with, we had a wood stove. So like, so we didn't have heat, like indoor heat. We had to go get all our firewood and everything. Well, when we were out cutting wood, we found like a litter of Siamese cats.
Okay.
And Siamese cats are different. So that might be why I might have it even worse because it came from a feral cat, like out in the woods where we got firewood from. And I brought it home. And that was my cat, K2. That was my first pet. I named him after my skis because I really love skiing. So,
of course, it's K2.
K2.
You could have called it Head.
That was a cool cat.
Yeah.
Had one ear because coyote ate the other one. So,
damn. Cat's got some perseverance.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to like get the survey going again and like truly just ask every driver and be like, okay, cats when you were young?
I don't know if Rudy had cats. Probably. I mean, who didn't have cats?
I didn't. Actually, that's not true. We had one cat, but I don't have what you drivers have. I don't have it. Nope. I don't have that unrelenting passion to win. I'm not that competitive.
I'm not. I don't think I'm super competitive though.
I don't know. Let's go like watch some in-car because the in-car is what does it. There's a look. There's a look, and you know drivers pull up to the lights, and then sometimes it's when the door closes, it's sometimes when the lights go up, it's sometimes when the arm drops, the visor goes down. But there's this like snap, and it's like, ooh, shit, this is a different human now. I think Odie's is probably my favorite because he's such a nice guy. He's so calm. He's so gentle. Like he's just like, you know, he's just the dad. Like he looks like he's like everybody's like, he's like your friend's dad. They're like, I wish that was my dad. That's Odie. But when those lights go out, he's an animal. It's crazy to watch his in-car because you see it like this like psychopath look goes over his face and then he just doors people for an entire lap. And then he gets out and he does his interview and it's just back to Odie again. Like, I don't know.
I think that's starting to come out of me now that I've been competing more. But even like, I think about when we go ice drifting, I'm a little like, but I definitely get that way with girls. And so I know a few times I have to think of the guy as a girl and then I'm more competitive. I think maybe it has to do with my journey of it all because I remember being like little me at a hot pit, like, hi, I'm Chellee, I'm going to drive with you, you know, like hopefully they don't plot a line and then like, you know, go want to drive with someone else. Cause like I was the only girl there. So it was kind of like, you know, but I feel I've never felt really treated poorly at all. I feel like if anything, I've been so incredibly supported by all the guys. Like if anything, they're always like some of my biggest cheerleaders. So it was a little intimidating. So maybe it's just me because I know, I've always kind of maybe been like, maybe not as dominant.
Okay.
In that sense, or like alpha, like I'm a little more or less like that. But I think, for me, drifting is such a strategy in my head. I think a lot of guys will drive more with their passion, you know? And then it kind of, when you're the great, it's the two of those combining.
Is there, there's no way for me to find a way to relate. So it's kind of difficult, but like, is there something different about being a woman or female in a male dominated sport, especially if there's another female there? Like, you said you get more competitive when there's another female driver. Like, is that?
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
I don't know. I've never been in a situation where I've been, you know, like that kind of minority and had to, you know, feel like I was competing against somebody of the same.
I wouldn't have thought the same thing until freaking Zandara comes up to me and made a bet with me. What was the bet, babe?
Okay.
Do you remember? What was the bet? It was like, yeah, it was like a battle. We didn't have like a real battle on, like, it was just more a
was like a
practice
call
run
out?
battle, but like a call out. It was a call out,
Just a call out.
but it was, she had to do something and you had to do something. I can't remember. But anyway, it freaking worked. And Rudy was like, girl, you are on fire. I was like, I know. Like, I was like, and that is when I was like, I just need to pretend all these guys are girls. I was like, I'm going to drive way more crazy. Because it's kind of like when you come into anything new, like I'm not the kind of person, I know I'm loud and annoying, but I try not to be like, like ego, you know, because drifting's a very humbling sport. Like you'll get humbled real quick. Like you're like, oh, I'm doing good. And then it's like, and you're not, you know, like it's kind of like you get good. And then, oh no.
Rudy's cooking?
Well, it's Valentine's Day. He probably has got some candles going over there. I don't know.
I think that's tomorrow, but I'll let it slide. I mean, you can do it early. That's fine.
I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's cooking something.
Is it true that he got you a car for Valentine's Day?
Yes. He's
Okay.
he's a 5-star husband. Like legit. Like he's way better at it than I am. Like I
mean, hey, sometimes you wear the pants, sometimes he wears the pants. I get it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a good husband.
I'm good. I'm good in my ways. He's good in his ways, but he's definitely like very thoughtful and like spoils me like crazy. And what it was is we were at Bedford at their Drift Evolution, that little fun track there, Finney Circuit, and I was in the G, which we got from Luke Fink from Drift Week 1, because that's the car I was like really learning in. And he was in, I think, Honey Butter. And he just kept pushing me around the track. And he was like, we got to get you a faster car. Because it was like, that's pretty much what my job was, is to give him lead after lead after lead, which was like fine. Because I wasn't like ready to be chasing close anyway, or like fixing my car if I hit him. So I was like, okay, I'll lead. I was learning still. So I was actually really, that's why probably I'm really good at leading, because initially that's just what I did. I let lead after lead, and then I would be like in the back of like the line of 3 or 4 of them, and I'd give them a little room, you know. And then I'd start getting closer and closer. But once I got my faster car, then I was like, okay, I can be a little closer. And then, you know, I hit somebody, and then I was like, ooh, probably too close. And then it's just like, man, you really, I tried telling these young girls, I'm like, just really know who you're going to go drive with, and try to just drive with one other car. And because like, it's so fun to get in a train, and don't get me wrong, you need to go do it. But like, until you have to go take your motor out and go to the frame shop and find a frame shop that will actually straighten your car or even touch it. I mean, you know, and I just don't want these people to quit, you know, because like it's not easy. So it's kind of like, there's like these simple things, like just like I said, if you get into your car and drive all the way across the states just to see if you want to do FD, like just get a feel for what that's like, you know, like do the Pro-Am series. That's the farthest away from you, the track you don't have any laps on, and you're competing against people who have 1,000 laps on that track. Go drive with those people. It's a good way to really feel it out and see if it's for you. You know, it's like way less stressful. There's so many great Pro-Am series out there with really good drivers. Like you are going to have plenty of time to figure out if your trailer can make it, all that stuff. So it's like, in the end, it's just all kind of like, how can I set myself up for success for like the longevity? Yeah,
just like embrace the suck now, right? Like,
do it in like steps.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Instead of, you know, eating the whole frog at once, like just take a bite.
Yeah. And that's hard to do. You know, it is. It is.
It's just, the longevity in motorsports in general, like we look at the dropout rate, the fallout rate of drifting and feel like it's a problem with just us. And it's really not. Like, go look at any of the Formula Series, go look at go-karting, go look at anything. Like, it's just a motorsport. It's just sports in general, right? Any advice we can give people to make their lives easier and make the journey easier is what I think my focus, one of my biggest focuses is. Like, I want people to be successful, and you don't have to be a pro driver to be successful in drifting. It's great. I want as many pros as we can get. I want the best of the best in the world driving at FD. But ultimately, if you just really enjoy banging doors with your friends, just do that. If you feel the calling to go and compete at a higher level, go for it. But, do your research, know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, because I don't, when you get to FD level, it's like the driving comes into being about a third of it, like your driving skill.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't think people realize that, and even the understanding of, like, the second your car breaks at FD, you need to be ordering that part for the next round. Like, there's, not everybody can, like, comprehend and, like, understand how to run a timeline. So it's like a team, getting everybody there, the logistics of that, everyone's personalities, the money, figuring out money, how you're going to pay for it. Asking people to take 8 weekends off in a whole year is, like, insane. Like, who can do that? Like, and then, hey, can you do it for free? Like, that's even harder. It's like, it's like, you got to have the passion for it and the lifestyle for it. And it's okay if it's not for you. Like, it's totally okay. But I think that's what makes the win and everything feel so much better. And the fact that, like, when you look at these drivers, you have to know, like, the driving isn't the only thing they're dealing with that day. There could be a lot of stuff that they're dealing with outside of that battle, and that's where it really comes down to who's doing, like, the mental game, the mental work, who can switch their mind over, who can take a lot of stress or a stressful situation and de-escalate it, it's really
put it aside. I mean, everybody's got shit going on. There's I've never met someone who's like, no, everything's fine. Like, my family's fine. I've got no drama. Financials are set. Like, that doesn't exist, unfortunately. So just being able to, I mean, if it does, please point me to that person.
It comes in moments, like, and you just embrace those moments.
I've admittedly had, like, one of the most fluctuating emotional years of my entire life. And I'm like, I'm pretty okay with things just calming down a little bit. And then obviously I didn't make that any easier on myself recently, but, like, it's like, I said it to my wife the other day. I was like, bad news comes in threes, right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I think I'm at, like, 4 or 5. Like, I kind of just want one more thing. Can we just wrap this up? Like, I need to move on a little bit. But also, like, the same thing, the juxtaposition of it, like, also had one of the great, like, I have one of the great best years of my entire life coming up. And it's like, you got to take the good with the bad. You also have to be able to, deal with those situations and take them in stride and work through them. Don't just put it in a box for later. Yeah. Like, I had this really cool moment at the track in Hallett, where I won the championship for Pro-Am, because it's like, I'm just like, hey, if it works out, and I really didn't think I was going to be able to get my pro license this year. Like, I was just kind of like, everything I do it to the best that I can do it. That's just my personality. But you win the first one, and then you're still in first for the second one. And then you're like, okay. So then the pressure is kind of building, like, and then for me, I was told, like, there was no petitioning. So I was like, okay, I have to get first place at this championship to get my license. This has, like, been really a nice goal. So it's like, it's like, we're getting mental now. Like, I'm going to have to deal with the pressure,
And you have the whole way to Oklahoma to think about it. And then I'm sitting there on the track, and I'm like winning, and I'm like, dang, I'm like, I might get this, and it's at night, and I'm driving on the track, and I just had this most surreal moment of like, I am in a race car right now, like in this beautiful track. And it's like it was just like the lighting, everything. And it was like this moment of gratitude just came over to me. And I'm like, no matter what the outcome is, I'm really just happy to be here. And I think we lose that sometimes. Yeah. And I think that is what we need. Like a lot of times we just need to focus, like what is going good right now, and just keep moving with that. Because like there's so much of it. Like if you just focus on what's going good, then you don't see all this stuff. You don't get involved. You don't keep feeling that. It doesn't keep snowballing. But if you keep doing the good, it can keep snowballing the good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a religious or a spiritual person. Like it's just not something that I guess like I enthrall myself with. And I have nothing against anybody's beliefs, to be perfectly honest, but there is something weird about being positive and how that can change things, and how even in a shit situation, just trying to find the good in it, or trying to find any positive, or, just trying not to let yourself sink into despair can get you a lot further.
Yeah.
And
people
it's
will
such a
actually
hard
want to
thing
be around you. So that helps.
But like, I understand why people fall into religion or spirituality, because it's such a hard thing to put a word to, or even like, it's very difficult for me to explain it without just saying, oh, it's the grace of God. Oh, it's the universe balancing itself. Oh, it's, Vishnu. It's whatever you want to point to. It's at the end of the day, it's doing good shit and being a good person will ultimately get you further. Like, that's just kind of it. Mm-hmm. Like, however you want to put it, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah. And standing firm, it's like, sometimes we can say, oh, you can be such a good person that sometimes people will take advantage of that, or, and that's okay. You just let them be who they are. And you choose how you want to react to that, and that's the thing. It's like, just focus on yourself and keep asking yourself, what do I want? And then just go with it, and like stay. It's really easy to get negative, especially like you see all the stuff with like the judging and all that. And like these guys are like, I feel like we're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're getting there. Like, let's just focus on getting better and doing better. So it's like, instead of complaining, and I have my moments where I complain. I'm not perfect at all. It's just a matter of like acknowledging, okay, switch your attitude, because like,
you're not letting it define you or control you, right? You're not
trying not to. Yes.
Yeah. You're going to, everybody's fallible. You're going to have moments where it does. You're going to have moments where it affects you more than it ever would, or it does take over your mindset or your psyche. But like, it's ultimately how you get out of that, and the fact that you do get out of it, because once again, everybody's got their own shit going on. Everyone's had shit situations. Just a matter of what you're doing with it and how you persevere through it. That's the difference between people who keep going and people who give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you're a shining example of that. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I think it's important for everybody to know that you're somebody who battled and survived cancer very gracefully, with a lot of humor and a lot of positivity, and I definitely use humor to cover up any kind of situation. Gallows humor is necessary. I had somebody very close to me pass away recently, and the only way my family got through it was through humor. And from the outside looking in, there was some things said that are pretty crazy and a little messed up, but like ultimately that's how we had to do it. It was laughing, because if we weren't laughing, we were crying.
Yeah. There's like some trend going on. What is it? It's like tell me your, like, what from your childhood, like what, like your traumas, basically, like what's your trauma,
Oh,
and then
okay,
like
yeah.
where it comes from your childhood. It's like the funniest responses, but I'm like, yeah, I was the fourth child. Like, you know what I mean? Like highly neglected. So that might be why I'm so loud and, you know,
That's
pushing.
It could
to
be.
do
It's,
things.
I mean, I come from a
Like,
huge
try and
family. So like,
keep up.
yeah, you need attention.
Yeah, and trying to keep up with everybody too, right? Like, I was always never very good at tennis, and everybody in my family was. And that probably might be why I am the way I am.
Of all the things, tennis.
I know. It's so hard.
Like that's what they, I mean, but like that's what your family was into.
Everybody in my family was really good at tennis. I just like, we did a lot of stuff, but I just sucked at it. Like, I just was never good at tennis. I'm like made of sand. Like I'm like trained. Like I start going, you know, and like I'm gonna plow you over. But like I'm not. I'm not like
agile. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Like rugby is a good one. Like tennis,
I'd be
not
good at
so
rugby.
much.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Should do it. I mean, there's no time like the present. There's got to be.
I do give a little pickleball a little bit, tap into that a little bit, because my mom is like champion of pickleball with all her friends, and wherever. Like, we went on a cruise to Spain together, and she like won the championship pickleball. And of course, she didn't ask me to be her partner. She asked my sister, because, like I said,
tennis history.
And I try to be like, I got this, Mom, but it's okay. Then she learned that I was really good at it, and she should ask me to be a partner. Didn't you, Mom? If you're listening to this,
I hope she does.
Comment.
I hope she does. Yeah. Mom, just drop a comment. Let us know you're here.
Dude, my mom's awesome. I look up to her a lot, because she's always has a great attitude about everything. Like, she'll go and paragliding. She would go skydiving. Like, she would do all those things. Like, she's like not afraid of anything either. Like, she's like, and I don't look like her. Like, really, she's like tiny and little, and I don't even look like her.
That's all right.
But I know I'm hers.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure there's personality traits that have transferred over that are key markers.
Yeah, they used to call me when I was a baby Smiley, because my brother would push my head down and I'd pop up and smile. Push my head down. Which is there's a lot of, I am.
There's a lot of resiliency that comes from the youngest. You guys just, I mean, I'm the oldest. So like I was the experiment child, where it's like, we don't know how to raise you. So we're just going to kind of like figure it out.
Yeah.
Nah, it's all good. I mean, I had a lot of freedom that I ruined for the rest of my siblings. So there was a lot of like, okay, I think this is fine. He can do this. And then they're like, nope, that was way too soon. That was a bad idea.
Oh, that's
I think
funny.
it regresses though, because then like my youngest again got more freedom, because I think my parents were just out of energy to like try and keep up with it. But like middle child syndrome, that's a real thing. 100%.
You have a lot of pressure though. Like, the oldest child has to really be like, you're like the boss, of the squad.
What's funny though is like all of my siblings have really cool and important jobs, and then I just talk. Like my one sister is in military intelligence. Like, she used to be a tank operator. Now she's in military intelligence. My next sister is a welder fabricator. She used to do everything from like skyscrapers to like high pressure steam to like underwater welding.
Oh yeah.
My other sister's a nurse, and then my brother was in the Air Force, and he did like armament, like he used to load bombs on planes. And then like, we get together for Christmas, and it's like, everyone's telling me all this crazy shit they're doing. Like, what'd you do? I'm like, I told people they suck at driving. That's what I did.
Oh, you're. Psh, hush.
I know. There's more to it than that. But like, I mean, I'm the oldest and, but it's like, I get a little intimidated by like my siblings' careers because I'm like, these are all pretty crazy. You guys get to do some nut shit. Don't get me wrong. I get to do some really awesome things and get to travel and, I made racing my life, which is the dream. But yeah, like in comparison to like my sister who it's like, hey, what'd you do? She's like, oh, I just, welded like 600 feet of,
underwater.
Yeah, exactly. I see that skyscraper over there? Yeah, I welded the footings for that. And I'm like,
that's funny.
Cool. Yeah, see those race cars? That's me talking. Like,
hey, but the building can't come down and it's your fault. So
yeah, exactly. And I say shit wrong. I get my job wrong. I get my job wrong all the time, and only a few people on the internet notice. So it works out pretty well.
That's normal. Don't worry, that's normal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it, and I'm going to let you can like give me the thumbs up or thumbs down. We had a quick conversation about getting Rudy involved on this. Your call. If you want to bring him on, we can do it. But if not, like you don't have to say anything.
No, we totally can.
All right.
Rudy. Yeah. You want to pop in here? How's your hair look?
Click. It's probably.
Yeah, so Rudy and I met in the wild.
Okay.
We met in the wild. My ears don't like earbuds. They don't ever stay in there.
I have to like try and squish. You guys are going to have to get really friendly. We're going to have to like squish you together.
Oh, and Buns is here.
My editor Kyle immediately is going to be like, I don't know how we're doing this, but and then
yeah.
Audio J is going to be like, cool. Okay, I like throwing them for loops. This is great.
We met in the wild.
Okay.
Skiing. He saw me skiing. He saw me skiing and he saw those nice ski pants, how they fit. And he was like, ooh, I got to ride the chairlift with that. and so he was waiting there and hey, ma'am, can I ride the chairlift with you? And he was so shy, which is so funny because he doesn't seem very shy, does he?
No, he's not.
I know. He was. And he was all quiet and cute. And we became really good friends. And I only really knew him from skiing. And he lived 2 hours away from where I lived. But I lived at the bigger ski hill that he would come to like every other week because you had kids. That he has 2 girls. And so he would spend every other weekend coming and going skiing.
I would come there every week in a camper and sleep in the parking lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For a whole week.
Yeah.
Which mountain was this?
Grand Targhee. So on the other side of the Tetons from Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Okay.
So you have Jackson and Targhee.
Are you still dressing up as a cowgirl on Monday nights there, or is that is that
cowgirl?
the past?
Yeah. Well, cowgirl Mondays. Sometimes they're cowgirl Sundays, but yeah, that was a tradition that I started because we had this cowboy named Slim that was like a lifty there, and he was this old timer, and he'd wear his big old cowboy hat, and if it was snowing, he'd put the plastic over the top, like they do.
Yeah,
and
gotta keep it fresh.
Yeah, Cowboy Slim, and so he worked on Mondays, and he only worked Mondays because he was a pretty older guy. And so my girlfriend and I, we started dressing up like cowgirls for Slim, and we called it Cowgirl Monday, and he like loved it. We'd wear fringe. So you have to wear your finest fringe. So that's become quite that's still a tradition today.
I wasn't sure if that was when you met. Like you were dressed up as a cowgirl, and then Rudy was like, "Whoa, this one's different. Like I need to talk to her."
No, I was just a ski bum. My son would go to school, and I would go skiing. And then I'd work all night and then do it again.
There's just a handful of about, 5 or 15 of us that would be there every single day. And I had we called it the chalet, which was my basically cab over camper. And we would just all go down and we'd ski all day and we'd go. And then my camper was like basically the hangout because it was the fun little local area. So everybody kind of come, we'd party outside of the camper. We'd cook food, hot cocoa, and just everybody gather around there basically every day at lunch. So
like tailgating kind of.
Yeah, tailgating.
And then we'd ski. And so we were good friends, but I only saw him in the winter, I think for like 4 years.
Yeah. We wouldn't even talk to each other at all for like the summer period.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And then, it was kind of crazy. But then we started dating, and I think we were engaged. We dated for a year, and we were engaged for a year. And then we got married in August, and then I got diagnosed with freaking breast cancer in November.
Dang.
Yeah. So that was wild because I moved to his town because I work for myself, so I could live anywhere. And he had his construction company and his 2 kids, and I had my son who was 4. Yeah. I think when we got first met or whatever. But yeah, then and so that was definitely like a challenge to get through. And I think maybe that's why we get through. Now that you brought it up, I'm like, maybe that's how we get through stuff. Because like that is a huge hurdle to go over in a new relationship. I mean, I lost my hair. Like, I'm glad I just had a lumpectomy. I didn't have like a double mastectomy, but I was stage 2. So I did metastasize through my body. So it is in my body. I just have to kind of manage it. But like, we got through that. If we can get through that, we can get through about anything. So
That was rough.
It was rough. I had a new town. Like my friends were all like 2 hours away. It was like, I had 2 new stepkids. I was like little. I had to figure out my work, and it was really hard because that area is very artsy, and it was super easy to sell paintings and make a living there as an artist. And then moving here where it's less touristy has been more of a challenge. I do more internet stuff and galleries over there than I do here. So now it's like my face isn't seen as much over there, which doesn't help my business as much, but it's still enough that it keeps me plenty busy. And then I also have like 4 Airbnbs that I run and operate.
Jeez.
And then we have his construction company, and then I manage the whole race team logistics. Mm-hmm. Rudy does like the parts, the cars, the tires.
Right.
I do a lot of anything that involves a computer. I do that.
She does a delivery. She does a lot of the car stuff. She'll do body panels. She does delivery. She'll come up there and help when basically her task is done in the house. But it's a full-time job, like with doing the 2 cars, like reaching out to partners, managing the motels, managing getting sponsorships, thanking them for it, asking them for more parts, making videos, emailing. She'll come up, she videos during the day every day, makes a little video, makes content.
Yeah.
So it's a full-time job.
Yeah. And we have 3 teenagers.
Obviously making bomb-ass food as well. I think that needs to be noted. The meals, I've been able to sample a few things. Damn.
It's the best.
It's definitely how you're keeping the crew around, that's for sure.
Right?
I know. I love cooking at the track. It's so fun. Like I kind of wish we could make it a thing. Like I wish we had more time, in a sense that you could like invite people to come by and like really have more family style dinners.
I think I'm gonna try and do it more because like I last year I love barbecue. Barbecue is like my favorite type of food, but I ate a lot of barbecue last year and it probably wasn't healthy. So I'm thinking this year I'm going to try and like travel to more pits and eat with more teams and like see what people are cooking. Cause like Brutski's family, I would get text messages like, hey, dinner's on, lunch is on. We've got this. You should come try this. Like this is something from, this is something that's like our culture. We'd really like for you to try it. So,
cool.
Yeah, I think I could do more of that and like, maybe film it a bit more for my own stuff just to be like, hey, like this is how they eat. Like some teams eat incredibly well, some don't. It just depends. I know Connor O'Sullivan, like they love like their big steaks and hunks of meat and stuff like that. So I'll smell it from like across the paddock and just like kind of wander
like, I
over.
know
I'm like,
where
hey,
I'm going.
Carrie, what's up? Like, oh, you're cooking steak. No way. Like,
Let's talk about who else cooks steak. Let me know.
Yeah.
Okay? Let me know.
no, I think I might try and do that this year. Yeah, I might just might try and all your drivers, like this is your warning.
More people are cooking.
I'm gonna come sample your wares. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think I don't know. I noticed more people are cooking and I was like, maybe I started this trend because like I've been cooking in the pit from day one, and then I'm noticing like more and more people are starting to cook. I'm like, look over, Mohan's cooking it up. I'm like, has he always been doing that? I don't know.
You could do like a cooking show, and you could like rate everybody's cooking show.
Oh,
like somehow make like 4 like first impression or appearance.
Yeah,
like,
criteria.
Criteria.
Get
so
the
that
GoPro.
and then it's
one.
like an easy in to go not have to like buy food or cook food, right? You're just like, okay, this is who I'm hitting up today. You let them know. You better have it ready.
And then it challenges
this is my meal
everybody.
plan. Yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody's kind of got another challenge to deal with, because we always need that,
right?
Yeah, something else to focus on, right? Because you don't have enough.
Sometimes
shit to
I'm
deal
like,
with.
who can make sandwiches? That's like sometimes I'm like, you guys, this is what we're doing this morning. You get breakfast, but you're making your lunch, and then you put it in the fridge, and it'll be there. Because every event's so different. Like if there's a hot pit or not, and then like making sure everyone gets food, and then like what do you make, and what's easy, and
what's
it's
available.
A skill.
Like what?
It's a skill. Because
like,
not of us
not
get a mom that comes with them.
Every team needs a mom. I firmly believe that there has to be like one strong like female figure on every team. It's got to happen.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Like I really love it when my girlfriends come, because like especially like one of my girlfriends, she's so like, I don't know, it just makes it awesome. And I hope she comes to every round this year with me. I'll introduce her to you. But she's like, it's just nice to have some female energy, like maybe it goes back to what we were talking about, just kind of helps us focus on the good stuff. And, I think there's more women definitely coming into our world, which is really cool. Like I noticed even my Instagram following definitely went from like 8% to like 30, so that's good. You're getting like more women that want to see drifting or want to be involved in drifting. And everywhere I go, there's just more girls driving. It's so cool. Cause like, it just creates a good vibe for everybody,
Yeah. And I mean, why not? Like, there's really no reason why not.
Yeah. And I think
we just need as many people to love the sport as we can get.
Yeah. And I always like tell girls, I'm like, you just show up. Like so many people are wandering around who don't have a car that will like love to help you. Like, so many people, they're like, they know how to work on cars, but they just don't drive. There's a lot of guys that come to these events that are just hanging out, and like if you just need a little help, you just ask for it. And like so many people will like offer their help and answer any question. Yeah. And it's just such a good community. So
we'd be at a lot of events.
Go ahead.
We'll be at an event and I'll be like, go find your daily mechanic. I'm driving today.
Yeah, even me. Like I'm like,
find some boy that just she knows is a badass and who's a good mechanic,
or even girl,
a friend, right? And they'll jump on and help her for the day.
Yeah,
and there's always people like that.
I'll be like, my car's making this like ding ding ding.
That's
is that
not
something
good
to worry about? But no, it's good. Like it's there's no excuses really. Just go for it.
Yeah, I agree. One of my best friends, Scott, will go to events with like tools and a welder just to go help because that's all he wants to do.
I know.
He's like, I
think that's where we stand out. Our sport. And like especially in the grassroots level, it's just such a community. It's so cool because like even like how you're saying, you're not really a spiritual person, and like there might be people like that who find it hard to find a community they fit into, and it's kind of like I feel like with drifting you get a lot of little misfits, we don't really have anywhere to go, and you kind of find your tribe. So
yeah, we're definitely a roaming gang of misfits at the end of the day.
I love running into everybody in all these different places. It's so cool. It's like a traveling circus, you know. You're just like,
Yeah.
see your friends, but you see them in different places all the time. I wish we just had more time to like hang out and do stuff in that area. Like for us, we have to cut back. We should come back and get to work so we can pay for it. Otherwise, I wish we had more time. Like, you know, it does. With some places you do. Some places you get more time together. So
I think load-in day is probably my favorite day because it's just you see a trail, you hear a truck coming, and you're like, oh, who's pulling? Oh, it's this person. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, once I'm done this, I'm gonna go over and say hi. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, there's this like nervous tension about like how the weekend's gonna go, but the pressure's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
And everybody's like a little chatty. Everyone's trying to catch up, see how things went. Like, I don't know. It's like every event feels like the first day back to school, right? We're like,
it does.
Everybody's the same but different in some way, and you're like, oh, like how was your summer? Like how'd things go in the last 3 weeks since I've seen you? But now we're in a completely different place. Like, it's fun. It really is. It is special, and I can't stress enough that like if you have an opportunity to get on a team in any capacity, like just jump all over it, even for a year, even for an event. Like if you can volunteer for one event, it's so cool. Yeah, we're so lucky.
If you like working.
It doesn't even feel like, I mean, there are definitely days it feels like work, but don't just
load up day.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock at night, you just got done with the finals and you just went to watch the top 8 and you wish you would have been loading, but you were watching and now it's midnight and you're still only half loaded.
And you maybe had 2 drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're really less motivated.
Can't remember how to put the awning back in or like how you got to fold it up. And you're like, how did we get all this in here? Like we got it all here. How is there more things? Like, it's, that's a good time. Cool. I mean, we crushed out 2 hours pretty easily. So,
okay.
Did I lose you?
No, I just like the volume went really down. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I got real intense. I got close to the mic. No, I was just gonna say, like, we did 2 hours like it was nothing, and it was really cool to get to hang out. You and I, nothing against Rudy. Rudy, I love you, buddy, but like, you know,
she's way better to talk to anyway.
Oh, whatever.
She has a way more charisma.
We just have different talks. That's it. That's all it is. Yeah, just different talks. But I think
Rudy's gonna do really well this year.
I think you both will. I'm excited. I'm excited to see. It's going to be, it'll be big for both of you. It'll be very different, but knowing everything that you've been through and how you guys have succeeded together and as a team and also individually it's going to be cool to see the next chapter of that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch her beat my friends. That's like I mentioned before.
See, I told you.
I get so much enjoyment out of them because I talk so much shit to them. So like DJ, like when she beats DJ, it's gonna be hilarious.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna ask, like, is there anybody in particular that like you're waiting for that battle? But it sounds like
me and DJ talk so much smack to each other, so that's gonna be. That'll be a good one. Like he's gonna, there's, all of them. I'm friends with, I would say, but like the ones you're the closer with, it's funner to talk more smack to.
Oh jeez.
Oh yeah.
I don't get involved in that.
He doesn't get involved. I do.
Silly boys.
Rudy's like all there.
Yeah.
He's pulling out the cash. We're like, all right, how much we got? Let's go. I know my girl.
We do actually. We do that.
Oh, I know.
At Salt Lake, we were doing that. You should
you were?
Yeah, down on the with Mata. We're down there with Mata.
Oh yeah.
Mata owns doesn't own. It's part. I don't know, in a casino. So he's very much so a gambler. So we'll get up to the events and we're like we're just like whoever the person is who really likes the individual. They'll take one side and I'll just whatever. I'll take the opposite, right? And then it's usually $20 per.
You guys usually come out even,
and we usually. Or yeah, pretty close, but it's fun to like throw some skin in the game, scream and yell at each other, and have somebody to cheer for. And so
Adds to
it was
it.
fun. We usually do that at Salt Lake for some reason. So anybody who's listening to this, come into the center down there in Salt Lake. It's always a good time down there, like betting. So
Well, you guys are driving now, Rudy.
well, it doesn't matter. It always just seems to happen down there for some reason. That event, none of the other events.
I mean, you guys can do it at Prospect now. Together.
Yeah, we'll be down there. There's your invite everybody. Come down there for Prospect. No, I'm not going to be helping you somewhere at some capacity. So, but
yeah.
Sick. Well, I'm pumped. I'm very, very excited for this year, and like I said, to see what you guys can accomplish over the next 8 events and 4 events, and I'm happy that you get to cross something off the fridge list now.
Yes.
Very excited. Feel free to
that's the best part. Yeah. That's why I write it down so I can cross it off.
Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of lists and goals as well, and it's very satisfying being able to do that. So I know the feeling that you get to have hopefully right after this. So for everybody listening and watching at home, please check out all the description down below. You can find all the socials for the Hansen group down there. And I mean, hopefully if you guys have made it this far into the episode, you got one more person to cheer for, one more story to follow, and, take a minute, subscribe, follow, like, comment, share, all that fun stuff. Not just with ours, but with their stuff too. Cause I'm cool. I'm happy with the views and the subscribers we get, but I want to make sure the drivers get the love. So
thanks. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I love the hospitality. I'm hoping that there's going to be like some sticker or merch that's making fun of me by the end of the year. So if you want another little goal,
well,
I was a little jealous the judges got it, but yeah.
You know what your character is. Actually, I have a whole thing for you and Jared. Do you want to know what it is, or do you want it to be a surprise?
No, I want to be surprised. Okay. I think you've spurred on the minions of Jacob already. That's already been stoked, and that's a whole.
I think it's different.
That's still
no, it's so good.
Yeah.
All right, I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
I want to be surprised.
Yeah,
it's good. I actually had a design already ready, but then the judge thing happened, and I was like, oh, then it took a turn.
Yeah.
So actually, you were going to be that one. You were going to be the Orlando one, but then I was like, I had to. I'm an artist. I had to go with the politics.
No, it was good. It was good. But
okay.
Yeah, for anybody who goes to events, make sure to stop by their pits because the merch is always very much on point. It's always going to be different and super cool.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes.
No worries. Well, thank you. Any last words? Any final thoughts? Thank yous?
Any support you guys give me and cheer for me, I so appreciate that. I'm all about it. I feel like what we were talking about, any kind of energy and vibes is like what brings it. And if you guys got that for me, thank you.
I got to say thanks to Chris. He's been helping us build our cars.
Oh, Chris, yes.
He's been out here breaking his back with us every single day for pretty much nothing, just because he loves the sport. He wants to be there. He wants to see us do well. So I gotta give it up to him, because we wouldn't have 2 cars coming into FD next season if it wasn't for him.
We wouldn't have a life at all.
So anyway, that's my shout out for tonight.
Like we get to do more things together that aren't just working because of him. So
yep. So thank you.
Nice.
Yes. Very
Good
much.
to hear. Cool. Well, you guys enjoy your night. Enjoy your Valentine's Day.
Oh,
thank you.
I don't need the details on that. I'm just going to say enjoy it. And,
it already started.
Oh, God. That's why the camera's pointed up so high. Anyways, that's all. We'll talk to you guys soon.
You're funny.